Welcome to part 17 of Vegas Pro Essentials. Slowing down or speeding up your footage is an important effect to know when it comes to any edit. Quite frequently, you'll see a video sped up, frozen in the middle, or even playing backwards. These are all speed-based effects you can achieve for dramatic or comic effect. Let's start off by reversing an event. Here is an event with the talent moving forward. To play any event backwards, right-click on it and choose Reverse in the pop-up menu. Playing the event again, the talent is now moving backwards. Looking at the timeline, any event that has been reversed displays a small indicator at the head of the event. This works in conjunction with any other speed change. You can have something going twice the speed, but in reverse. Speed changes will be covered later in the video. And if you want to undo the reverse effect, right-click on the event and disable Reverse in the menu. Another common speed effect is the freeze frame. Quite often, an event is playing and you want to pause momentarily on a frame of video. So place the positioner on the frame you want to freeze. The easiest way is to click on the More button of the event and choose to freeze the frame at the cursor. Playing the event, your media runs at normal speed and then freezes at the specified frame. Here's a great way to visualize that's on the timeline. Look at the event and see the velocity envelope. Envelopes are visual lines that help you control effects over time, and this envelope is specifically for speed, or what we call event velocity. Looking at the sudden drop between these 2 points indicates a freeze frame. You can hover over the points to see the velocity at this moment. Now let's say you want the freeze frame to hold for a second or two and then carry on playing the event. Move the timeline cursor further down the event, right-click on the velocity envelope and add a point. This point also has a 0% velocity. Zoom into the timeline with the middle mouse wheel and place another point right next to the new one. Next, right-click on the second point and set it to normal velocity. Depending on the distance of these points, the event may slowly speed up or start right away. Holding Shift, you can constrain the point horizontally and move it up to the first point. Play the event again. Freezing a frame is easy, and as you've experienced, it can be integrated as parts of the edit. Lastly, if you want to remove freeze frames or any speed changes, right-click on the event and choose to remove the velocity envelope through the menus. The velocity curve will reset and disappear for the selected event. We'll come back to the velocity curve when we discuss animated speed changes or speed ramping. For now, I'd like to focus on constant speed changes. To change the speed of a whole event, click the Event's More button and choose Playback Rate. You can also get to this menu by calling up the event's properties via the right-click menu. Right in the middle of the window, you will see the playback rate set to 1. This is the normal playing speed of any event. To play the event at 50% or half speed, set the value to 0.5. Press Enter and play the event. Since the event is only playing at half speed, you may need to trim the event longer to see the entire shot. This is expected. Similarly, to play the event at double the speed, go back to the same menu and set the speed to 2. Press Enter and play the clip again. Even though the event is playing back twice as fast, the event's physical length is not shorter. In fact, the media is looping within the current event. This is indicated by the loop indication on the event. This behavior was covered in the infinite event looping video earlier in the Essentials series. Trim the event shorter and snap it to the loop indicator. At any time, if you wish to return the event to its normal playback speed, return to the playback rate settings and set the value to 1. I'm going to show you how we can do this more precisely and interactively on the timeline. Sometimes you might have an event to squeeze or stretch into a part of the timeline. This is quite common if you have a gap to fill in the edit. Instead of guessing the exact playback rate required to fill the gap, go to the Timeline toolbar and change the editing tool to Time Stretch or Compress. Hovering on either end of the event, you will get the Time Stretch cursor. As you drag out the event, the playback rate changes as opposed to trimming the media. Playing the event, you'll see it slower because we stretched it out. To confirm this, go to the playback rate window and you'll see the speed is either greater or less than 1 depending on whether you stretched or compressed the event. To reset the playback rate, set the value to 1 and press Enter. And as a reminder, change the editing tool back to the normal edit tool in the Timeline toolbar, otherwise you'll be compressing and stretching events unnecessarily. The last method of changing playback speed is also the most flexible, but arguably the most complex to understand the first time you see it. You've already learned to change the constant speed of an event using the playback rate menu. You set a single value, and the entire event plays at that speed. But to change the speed of an event over time, or perform a speed ramp, you use the velocity envelope. To enable the velocity envelope, right-click on the event and choose to insert the velocity envelope using the menu. The velocity envelope appears, and I'd like to point out that there is always a point or keyframe at the first frame of the event. The flat line indicates a constant speed, and hovering over the point will tell you the velocity is 100% or normal playback speed. To change the velocity of the event, you can grab either the point or grab the envelope and move it up or down. Holding Control gives you smaller incremental changes to be more precise. To start speeding up an event, you add a point by either double-clicking on the envelope or right-clicking to add a point. Move further down the event and add a second point. I'd like to move the timeline cursor to the second point because you can see what frame will occur at this point using the video preview. You can snap the point to the timeline cursor or use Shift or Control to constrain the point horizontally or vertically. Playing back the event, you can see how the media speeds up over time. You can also right-click on a point and choose a predefined speed or use Set to set your own. Now curves going up indicate a speed increase, so curves going down indicate a speed decrease and ultimately reversing the event. For example, moving down the event again, let's add a point. A little bit further on, add one more point and drag it until the velocity is negative. The media should be playing backwards at this point. The envelope gives you complete freeform speed changes, so you can be as creative as you like with the speed of the event. As additional control, you can also right-click on any point and choose the type of fade between the selected points. The fade can be smooth, linear, etc. Lastly, if you wish to delete a point, right-click on it and choose Delete Point via the right-click menu. You can also reset the entire velocity envelope in the same menu, or simply right-click anywhere on the event and remove the velocity envelope. Here's a little gotcha that will catch you out at least once. The velocity curve is not linked to the playback rate of an event. So my advice to you is to choose one or the other depending on what you're trying to achieve. In the next video, we jump right into titling. See you in the next video.